What is up? It's your boy John and Shreve, IFBB Pro, Mr. Tell Like It Is. It looks like Doc Mike might have some beef with Dana White. Let me explain. So, Dr. Mike put out a video about a month ago called Exercise Scientist Critiques Dana White's Misleading Transformation. In this video, he talks about Gary Brecka, his nutrition, his training, and all those things. And then recently, Mark Bell put a small snippet from Dr. Mike's entire video out there, shared it with everybody, and then this happened.
Carbs and sugar.
Wrong. It turns out that carbs and sugar can be totally part of a healthy diet, even in really high quantities, as long as you're getting enough protein. Most of your carbohydrates are coming from veggies, fruits, and whole grains, and you have lots of physical activity and resistance training, and the total calories are not excessive. You can have people who eat lots of carbs and lots of sugars, lots of bodybuilders, endurance athletes, and very healthy vegans do this all the time, and those folks are some of the healthiest people in the entire world. There is nothing mechanistically about carbs and sugar that is any worse for you than excessive amount of fat, or really an excessive amount of protein. Everything in excess, specifically calories, is bad for you. If it's excess carbs and sugars that are making you have excess calories, you should reduce them. But you can have lots of carbs and sugars if you are not overeating calories based on what you burn. How do you know that? Are you a fat motherfucker that weighs too much? You're eating too much. Are you nice and lean? You're good to go.
Mark Bell goes under this post, tags Dr. Mike, and says, I personally believe there are other prices to pay eating a lot of carbs that may not show up as body fat. I believe anxiety, depression, seizures, skin issues, and potentially disease like autism, dementia, Alzheimer's, ADHD, cancer, and schizophrenia can all be triggered and exacerbated via large amounts of carbs for long periods of time. Lastly, I wouldn't say eating extra calories is bad for you. Oftentimes, it can be great for you. Now, Mark Bell is very carnivore, and then we have Dana White, who is very keto. Dana goes on and says, yeah, everything this dude says sounds very complicated. Keto works for me. It's simple, and I love it. And I have never felt healthier in my entire life. I'm not asking anyone to do what I do. I'm not debating some effing dude that thinks he's a health expert. I share what works for me. If you don't agree with it, very simple, don't do it. Keto is perfect for my lifestyle, age, etc. But everyone has to do what works for them. And it goes on because people are, putting their 2 cents, and they're, a lot of people are actually sticking up for Dr. Mike and whatnot. And, Dana's in there and he's like, I don't give a shit who he is. He has no idea what he's talking about when he comes at me. He doesn't know my situation. All these clowns popping up out of nowhere. It's hilarious. I'll keep going down reading some more stuff that Dana White says. Yeah, it doesn't work for me. I'm telling people what has worked for me. Most people don't just eat a little bit of sugar or a little bit of carbs. We overeat all that garbage. People ask me what I do and I tell them what worked for me. I'm not a doctor or some so-called scientist. I had the best doctors, healthcare on the planet, and it was all effed up. I'm incredible now, so I'll stick with what has worked for me and changed my life. And I've stuck with it for 2 years. I'm good. But the biggest thing is, when it comes down to, is there's some things that he said in this that made me want to do this video. And one of the big things is like the trust in doctors. When you look at the comments that were made, Dana White refers to doctors, and Dana basically does not like doctors. And because he doesn't have any trust anymore, anything with the DR in front of it, he's like, nope, no. The only problem is that he's mixing up Dr. Mike with your general practitioners. Dana White makes a couple comments like, yo, if I break my leg or something like that, yeah, I'll go see a doctor. But until then, He's doing all the things that he should be doing. His transformation, and I think his transformation is the biggest thing about Dr. Mike's video, and I totally agree, he gives way too much of his credit to Gary Brecka. Gary Brecka is an absolute clown. Absolute clown. But the things that he is doing that you can learn from, and I'll take advice from him as well too, right? I get it. Dana's mega rich. He's famous, but you don't have to be mega rich and famous to stick to a diet, train, cardio. He's doing all those things. So I wrote back and I said, hey guys, want some exclusive content? Join my school community right now. We have weekly Q&As and my 3, 4, 5 day split, my training ebooks, my courses are all for free. So hit up my school community right now. Link in description below. Back to the show. Hey boss, I suggest watching his whole video. It's not a jab at you. His point is, the video is for other people to understand that anything in excess isn't good. I always preach that the best diet is the one that you can stick to. So if keto works for you and you know why it does, then Great. Most people don't. And they will follow what someone else does thinking it's the magic ingredients. And then Dana actually writes back to me and says, I agree 100%. I'm so sick of these doctors popping up talking shit. Doctors are who I'm staying away from when it comes to my general health. These dudes who are chiropractors or have degrees in sports physiology and call themselves doctors, if I break my arm or need surgery, I'll go to a real doctor. And it isn't any of these dudes. Through this and reading this, I'm like, he really doesn't like doctors. When it comes to like, yo, if you break your arm or something like that, yeah, for sure. But you know what? For the most part, if you're doing what Dana does, not to the extent of doing like radiation or red light or all that stuff, you don't have to do that stuff. You don't. The problem with, and what Dr. Mike was trying to say in his video, is nail the basics down. You want to add red light therapy, you want to jump in freaking cold tubs, you want to, I don't know, do that, fine. But when you have the basics, the things that actually 100% work, and the biggest factor to Dana White's health isn't because he's doing red light therapy, it isn't because he's doing Gary Brecka's magic, whatever it isn't because he's doing cold plunges, it's because he's adhering to a diet that is giving him the proper macronutrients, he's getting his carbs, his fats, and his proteins, he's doing resistance training, he's drinking enough water, he's resting, he's meditating. He's doing all the things that anybody and anyone watching this video can do. It takes, self-control and a little bit of motivation and strategy, but he's doing all the things he needs to do to keep his butt out of a doctor. If you do those things, you literally reduce the risks of all the things that you have to see a doctor for. And that's what I got out of this entire thing. The best diet is the one that you can stick to. It doesn't matter if you do carnivore, keto, if it's your macros, I don't know, any of the diets, all the diets out there. It doesn't matter what diet you follow or whatever it is, it's the one you can stick to. Now again, if you're going through depression or, anxiety or whatever it is, and you're medicated, like for myself, I have borderline personality disorder and I have ADHD. I take Vyvanse for me to, help me with focusing. But I do all the other things as well too. And the problem is, and I think that's one of the things what Dana's trying to say is because of his hate, his I guess I wouldn't say hate, I could say that. His hate for doctors is because most of the time when we go to the doctor, we're not really fixing anything, but just putting a band-aid over it. And I'm gonna tell you what I believe. There is a place for medicine, 100%. I am all for proper medication. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. There 100%. My father has dementia, he's in hospital, there's medication that he needs. And I'm not gonna be like, yeah, dad, have a good, healthy diet and go for a walk. It's like not gonna happen, unfortunately. But guess what? He still has to do all those things. And he's in a home. But he still has to do some kind of exercise. He still has to do some kind of cardio. He still has to eat. He's actually put on weight, which is amazing. He has to rest and he has to have time to de-stress. He has family that comes by. So I understand 100% you do need a doctor. You 100% need, doctors are needed. Medication has its purpose. But you need to put yourself in a position in your life where you don't have to see a doctor all the time. And if you have to see a doctor all the time, I can promise you that it's because you're probably not doing the things over here. So yes, I agree with Dana on a lot of things. I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Gary Brecka is, prescribing. It's still up to the person to take the power into their own hands and enforce those things in their life, because no one else is going to do it for you. Anyway, go watch Doc Mike's video, go read Mark Bell's post, and let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. I'm a channel that tell like it is, transparent, humble truth. For coaching, johnasheep.com. If you want to learn more about my coaching, guys, book yourself a 1-hour video consult with myself. At the end of the consult, I deduct $100 off any package that you pick. And guys, hit the link in the description below for the discount codes and promo codes that will save life or change life for the better. And guys, I'm on Instagram and TikTok. Send me your progress pics, your training pics, and your video clips, and I'll repost it for you, because you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron, because we'll blow your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing.